welcome to SveNFL.
What's up, y'all?
It's Jonathan Rollins.
Skip Misora.
Two Americans living in Sweden talking about obsession.
Yeah, I got
Sometimes
plenty of
you
those.
get obsessed, man. Sometimes you get obsessed. Sometimes you think a team is what it is, and then it's not. Sometimes you fall behind even farther in your flip 'em and pick 'em standings. I don't know. Things happen. Week 11's in the book, and we are here to talk about the NFL and why Skip is beating my ass in flip 'em pick 'em.
I am kind of whooping that ass.
Well, you're up by 6, but you've been down by like 5 before, so this is a big turnaround.
That's true. And
Oh, yeah, you're looking at your analog sheet? I was just looking at my
I am
spreadsheet
looking at
that
my
counted it up
analog.
already.
I'm looking at my analog sheet. I looked to there was only one like kind of disagreement that we had. I put an asterisk next to the Browns Steelers game because I thought you were wrong to pick the Browns. And turns out you were right. We'll get to that game. But,
you know what? When I went through it, I was like, did I pick the Browns?
That's such a weird.
That was a weird game.
The AFC North is so strange this year.
We all anointed Kenny Pickett, man. Should we just start? Should we get into it when it get right to the games?
Let's do it because
it's a lot to dig into here, man.
Obviously, we start with Thursday Night Football. Baltimore Ravens beat the Cincinnati Bengals 34-20. The real story here is obviously the subject of our emergency pod that we put out on Sunday. That Joe Burrow is done for the year. Emergency pod. That was for the emergency pod, not for the Joe Burrow injury. No.
Right, exactly.
So Joe Burrow's done for the year. Obviously, it's a shame he injured. I guess he injured his wrist on the sack prior to the next play, where because he throws the touchdown pass. It was a go-ahead touchdown pass, so they were totally in this game. And he doubles over in pain. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think we mentioned in the emergency pod that the NFL is investigating whether Joe Burrow had an injury before the game. I don't know. To me, I guess.
Yeah, it's bullshit. There's no way to. So what? If they have to put every single tweak and kink that everybody has leading into a game, then the injury report to be 30 people long every week. This time of year.
The reality is this: if a player practices in full, you don't really have to list him as questionable on the injury report.
It's not questionable.
So even if he has, everybody's kind of injured at this point in the season.
Exactly.
You know
it's
what I mean?
a bunch of nothing, man. It's for the people to feel like they have control that lost money on bets. Y'all shut the fuck down. Don't bet if you're not willing to lose the money. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's obviously a huge blow to the Bengals, who dropped to 5.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Ravens also lost Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
Key part of their team. There's going to be a huge conversation around this hip drop tackle. I have more to say about that later.
Okay.
But, Lamar Jackson, he's just came out and handled his business. He threw 2 touchdown passes. Gus Edwards had a nice day. He was running angry. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. He suddenly seems like a real, the Ravens backfield has always been something that has been difficult to trust. And currently, is at least for the last couple of weeks, it feels like Gus Edwards is the answer.
Yeah, he seems like he comes from a quality college.
I'm guessing that he probably comes from the U.
Oh, whoa! Where'd this come from? The U popped up out of nowhere, man.
You just popped up out of nowhere. Yeah. Yeah. This was typical AFC North football. 2 teams just beating the shit out of each other. And the Bengals came out on the wrong side of it, obviously. And I think their playoff chances are
Pretty much done.
Pretty much done. They're going to have to
no
roll
more
with,
hiding Zach Taylor.
no more hiding Zach Taylor because now we got to roll with Jake Browning as the starting quarterback. I don't know a lot about Jake Browning. I haven't seen him that much. I do know that he went to he was pretty good in college, played for Washington University, got some Heisman Trophy votes back in the day. But as far as I know, he's just always been a backup, right? Has he ever really been a starting quarterback? I don't know.
Not as far as I know.
I don't know that much about him. I think the Bengals are probably cooked, sadly.
Yeah. Well. We picked them to win the division, so that sucks.
I want to say in defense of there's been a lot of hate towards Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson. Logan Wilson is the one who tackled Mark Andrews, injured him. He tackled Lamar Jackson, which also led to an injury. Lamar played through it. And he also tackled OBJ, which led to a bit of a shoulder injury. There were a lot of people saying that Logan Wilson is a dirty player. From my eyes, Logan Wilson is a football player, and his job is to tackle people who have the football. And he gets paid to tackle people who have the football, and people get injured. So I think it was just a weird coincidence that, that these tackles led to injuries. And I just think it's kind of stupid to think that he's something that he ain't. I
think the thing that it signals to us all is that I'm going to have a new sound on the soundboard. And
oh, shit. Damn.
Return of the whack. Return of the whack. we got Whack Jones out there, but we're back to Whack Taylor, man.
Yeah.
Return of the whack, man.
We got Whack Jones, we got Whack Wilson, we got
Whack Wilson, we got Whack Taylor, man. Return of the whack is real, man.
Be careful for all you people out there whose names rhyme with whack.
You're in trouble, man.
It's not a good time to have a name that rhymes with whack. You are in the crosshairs.
Khalil Whack. Hey, watch yourself, Khalil. Because when that music hits, boy, it's on, but return of the whack.
Because I tell you, we can move on because I think Kenny Pickett is probably glad that his name doesn't rhyme with whack.
Yeah. Oh man, we needed just a South Park. You killed Kenny.
Yeah. This was an ugly, ugly, ugly football game. Old school football.
A shit bowl brought to you by Xlex.
You know what? I can't say shit bowl. Yeah, it was a shit bowl. Because we got a backup quarterback, and it's a second start, really, but first start he's prepared for where he gets to practice with the first team. And I understand why they can only put up 13 points. We did get to see some really good defense by Cleveland, taking everything away. But Pittsburgh, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah,
you held them to 13 points. So you lost?
Yeah, obviously both teams played great defense. And even on a day where the Steelers kind of had the edge because, the real sort of offensive MVP of this game was Jaylen Warren, who just continues to get better every week. I feel like Jaylen Warren is this year's Tony Pollard. The number 2 running back who's actually better than the guy who's supposed to be the number 1. Jaylen Warren was balling 9 carries for 129 yards. That's crazy. Yeah. But it still couldn't win them the game. Kenny Pickett, Jesus Christ, 15 for 28, 106 yards.
Yeah.
That's just terrible. Awful.
270 total yards passing between the two teams. It's like, stop it, man.
It's just like, what is this, the 1920s? Like this
is exactly. It was just 13 to 10. Oh, barn burner. I want to get away from that game, man. that game disappointed me so much. Then we had a barn burner we didn't expect.
True.
We thought this was going to be a one-sided ass whooping, but Detroit, this was like when you fight the bully, but you make the bully have to go get stitches, but they still won the fight. That's what this was, man. Chicago stood up to Detroit, and Detroit had almost no answers. They were down by 12 points in the fourth quarter with, I think it was 9 minutes left, something like that, or 6 minutes left. And they still found a way to lose the game. And Goff looked like old Goff. He was L.A. Goff at first, and then he turned into Detroit Goff in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, this was a proper apex predator battle. Bears, Lions. I mean, and you're right about Goff. I mean, he throws 3 picks in this game. If he doesn't throw those picks, this is the dominant ass whooping that we thought it was going to be. But it allowed the Bears to, they capitalized off of the turnovers, and they had the Lions on the ropes. And then the Lions just decided to win this game in the last, 9 or 10 minutes and put it together, man, which in a way, I mean, despite the mistakes, in my book, that tells you this team is legit. Like, that's a good foot. You're not supposed to win football games when you throw 3 interceptions. That's not supposed to happen. So the fact that they did that. Remember
you said that. I want you to remember you said that.
I feel like I always say that. Why do you?
I'm just it's going to be said later. That's all I'm saying. Remember you said that.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I thought this was some kind of weird Falcons reference. Like,
no. Justin Fields, though, man, he threw his best pass of his career in this game.
That was beautiful.
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
Shocked me. I was another overthrow. Nope, right on the money. Touchdown.
Right in the bucket to DJ Moore, a beautiful touchdown pass. Kind of a real clear indication that they came to play, you know what I mean? Yeah. Which is great. Good for the Bears, you know what I mean? The Bears are showing that they got some fight in them, which is great. But this duo of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs again. Montgomery took the load of the rushing yards, of course. But Jahmyr Gibbs has turned out to be a real threat in the screen game. He put up 36 yards rushing and then another 59 receiving. They figured this thing out. This is what I was hoping the Falcons were going to figure out with their offense, which they have yet to do. But this Detroit team is fun. What did they say? They said on the broadcast, it was so funny. This was this is the best record the Lions have ever started a season with since we landed on the moon.
Why they always throw that out there? They could say since the Super Bowl era. It's the same year. Why they say since we landed on the moon?
Is it the same?
The Super Bowl era begins in 1966. And the moon landing was 1966, right? Or was it 1965?
No, this was the year after because they said it was the same year the Jets won the Super Bowl, which was didn't they win they won the 3rd Super Bowl, right?
Okay.
I think that was it. So it was like just after the Super Bowl.
Or maybe the moon landing was after this. Okay, so I guess
it's more fun to say it was since we landed on the moon. That's like a big deal, you know what I mean?
It's fucked up, man. How about shout out to early celebrations. Justin Fields runs down the left side, gets a first down. Still only a little bit of time left. They're up 12. He does maybe not 12. They're up at least one score. He does a somersault, finger guns, just flexing on them. And I think they ended up kicking a field goal, and then they lost the game. So shout out to early celebrations. He
had 104 rushing yards in this game.
Man, it's a Justin Fields game. It's funny because I was reading an article about it, and they were like, Justin Fields doing this thing, man. 275 total yards. I was like, 106 of them are from running the ball.
I mean, you're not wrong to point that out. Obviously, it's great to say that he had 104 rushing yards, but it also points out that there's a bit of a problem they had Khalil Herbert back in this game. He's supposed to be their lead running back. He only has 35 yards. That's a problem. They have a problem.
To me, the biggest problem is the reason he runs and and I'm never going to let this go. I know Bears fans might be mad at me, but he runs because he can't read defense, and that's what it comes down to. It works out. They get big plays, but then in the end, we've seen it a handful of times where he's got a chance to either push the team ahead for a victory or keep the team ahead for victory, and it just never comes out on top, really.
That's a good point. It's a fair point.
Another team that doesn't come out on top.
Sergeant segue.
the Chargers, man. Chargers supposed to win this game. I picked them to beat the Packers, and I flip and pick them. I think the reason that you chose the order is so I could get to pick this game. I don't know. I think it's a conspiracy. I do not like having the Chargers, and they made me pay for it by losing to the Packers, who, like, nobody's been scared of the Packers. They're trying to figure out who they are. And the Chargers, we know who they are.
But they are who we thought they were.
And that's exactly what it is, man.
I learned in week 2 this year a lesson that I should have already learned in the Eliminator Challenge. I picked the Chargers to win a football game, and I've done that thing ever since. It's like you just can't trust them. I mean, you're 100% correct. They should be winning this football game. They have Keenan Allen, despite having 116 yards and a touchdown, had 3 huge drops in this game.
Yeah.
So that was a big problem.
The other guy, too, the rookie, dropped. I think he had 6 drops.
That motherfucker, Quentin Johnson, first-round pick out of TCU. I mean, I could have told you when they got boat raced by the Bulldogs in the national championship game that guy wasn't shit. Maybe he'll get better, but I don't know, man. You shouldn't be losing to these Packers. They ain't that good. Like, as further insult, defensively speaking, the Chargers are now responsible for giving Jordan Love his highest career passing day ever in his career. Like, this motherfucker comes out and throws 322 yards, 2 touchdowns, career day for him. And he's out here throwing, to some rookie and year 2 receivers, this Datavion Wicks, never heard of him.
The core of the future of the organization? No.
They are. I mean, they're good. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong.
Chargers supposed to be good on defense, man.
They are supposed to be good on defense, but they are not. Eckler looks slow.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one play where Eckler was gone.
Yeah, he got run down, yeah.
Long 37-yard run, and
the guy grabbed him. The guy jumped on him. Like, it must have been going pretty slow because the guy made the tackle jumping, like, on his neck. It's like, you don't catch somebody like that unless you're way faster than them.
He looked pretty slow to me.
Well, one thing that's great about it is that Brandon Staley could definitely have a press conference and will definitely sort everything out, be calm, cool-headed, like a leader does. That's
humble.
Yeah, humble.
Yeah, a lot of humility.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So. I don't know if you're interested in hearing Brandon Staley at a press conference.
I mean, you can play it now or you can play it later because I'll spoiler alert, he's in my superlatives.
What? Yours too? He's in mine too. Let's just hear what Brandon Staley had to say because he's got to clear this up for us as a leader of men.
Since struggled all year and just dated back to when you got there and you still haven't made any kind of significant changes. When you keep saying the same things and doing the same things, you still, I guess, why?
I have full confidence, like I've told you, and like I've told you from the beginning, I have full confidence in our way of playing.
Okay.
Full confidence in myself as the play caller and the way that we teach and the way that we scheme. Full confidence in that.
But
we got to bring this group together and do it consistently. Okay? And that's where it's at. So you can stop asking that question. Okay? I'm going to be calling the defenses. Okay? So we're clear. So you don't have to ask that again. I'm not here to talk to the fan base. I'm here to talk to my players, the locker room. I know that we give ourselves a chance to win every single week with the game plans that we have. Okay? And we have done it here. You guys
But
act like we've never played good defense. That's not the truth. It's not the truth. You act like we haven't made any improvements. Today, in the run game, we played outstanding. We're rushing the quarterback well. What we got to do a better job of is in the passing game. And that's where our full attention is, and it's where it will continue to be. There are a lot of other things that caused us to lose today. It certainly wasn't our defense. It was the way we played as a team. We didn't play well enough on the red zone on offense. We dropped too many passes. Okay, we gave up a few killer sacks. Okay, we did this as a team. Stop making it about one unit, because that's not what happened out there today. Our team lost, and I am fully responsible for it, and I take full responsibility. But we lost as a team today, and that's the storyline.
Damn.
Oof.
It's falling apart, bro.
You know the line there's one line that I didn't remember in that press conference is where he says, "I'm not here to talk to the fan base."
Yeah, bro.
I mean,
it's a wrap. How does he still have a job? I've been looking like over and I've been looking in the thing over and.
Yeah.
I can't find where they fired this guy. He should have been fired.
I was all day yesterday. I was refreshing my browser, thinking like it was going to drop. I really was.
So he's got to go. He's got to go.
I think they're going to wait till the end of the season, but there's no fucking way this guy is the coach of the Chargers next year. I mean, okay. So in all fairness, he's not wrong. They lost they would have won this football game if Keenan Allen hadn't dropped all his passes. Quentin Johnson too.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Everything he said is true. You know, they lost as a team.
Not everything he said is true.
No, maybe not. But that part is. But then to come out and to sort of attack this reporter, like I said, I have a little more to say about it later, but it's just, this is not a good look, bro. It's not a good look.
Not at all. We'll move on, man. What people might think is not a good look is the Dolphins seeming to struggle at home to beat the Raiders, who seem to be rejuvenated after getting rid of their coach. Hey, Chargers, take some notes, man. In your division, a coach got fired and the team got rejuvenated and took on a team that people thought was pretty strong, the Miami Dolphins, who came out of there with their defense showed up and played very well and beat the Raiders 20-13. What are your thoughts, Giff?
Well, their defense showed up, but so did yours.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Dolphins defense showed up.
Yeah, I mean they held the Raiders to only 36 total rushing yards. And they intercepted Aiden O'Connell 3 times. One of which was like just to like put it on a poster and stick it in the stick it in the Hall of Fame. That Jalen Ramsey interception in the end zone was like,
oh my god! Did you see the one before?
Yeah,
when he jumps the route. Oh my god,
that was nice too. But that one where he's just like hovering in the air,
flying,
and he kind of injured himself a little bit when he fell. But
he fell on the ball. He was all right.
He seemed okay afterwards. Yeah, he probably just got the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was impressed with the Raiders. And I really, it's twice in the last 3 years that the Raiders interim coach has really stepped up, and I think they should have kept Rich Bisaccia, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think the man did enough to earn the right to keep the job. I hope they don't make the same mistake twice. I really think they should stick with this guy and see what he can do. I mean, it's not like, they've already made the mistake of paying too much money, to 2 other guys who they're still paying right now. Like, why not,
get them on a discount?
Why not roll with the guy who has the locker room and just, and see what happens next year? Your season's basically over for this year. You're not gonna make the playoffs, but go out there and just keep playing smash mouth football and keep trying to make it hard for good teams like the Dolphins to win football games. Keep proving yourself, and move on from there and just develop.
How about Tyreek Hill?
That was funny because for the first quarter or so, for most of the first quarter, it was like, damn, these Raiders they're balling. Like shit, they're stopping everything short. They're playing tight coverage, and you're just like, shit, man, where's Tyreek's not really doing anything? And then all of a sudden, boom, he gone. Like, oh shit, there he goes.
He caught that little skinny post and then was just out, man. And then doing a high step, getting into the end zone. It seemed like every time he gets the ball, it's terrifying. I get it, man. That's great. Great to have him.
And then
it's
the
best
Raiders,
to walk out with a victory. I like that.
Yeah, and then the Raiders showed they had some fight in them, and there was that nice pass from Aiden O'Connell to Devontae Adams, and it kind of felt like, oh shit, we're into one here.
Oh yeah.
What happened to I didn't actually see what happened to Devon Achane. He came back, had one carry, and he banged up his knee again. What happened there? Did you see it?
Yeah, he got kind of rolled up when the guy made the tackle. But they said by the end of the game, they were saying he might come back in. So it couldn't have been too bad. But I was like, keep his ass on the sidelines, man. That was one where if they were beating him more convincingly, they would have been like, he's out for the day. But he didn't come back in anyway.
Yeah.
We got the lead. Our kicker missed the kick. It was so many miscues. Our kicker missed the kick. We had 3 fumbles. One by Tua, one by two other players fumbled. This tight end, Hill, he fumbled the ball. And there was one more person fumbled. I forget.
Oh, you got 2 fumbles. You got Tyreek and Julian Hill.
And Tua fumbled.
I meant to say Tua. I said Tyreek. Yeah, Tua and Julian Hill have fumbled the ball.
What was the Tua pick? That was the third one. The third turnover.
Right.
3 turnovers, missed field goal. It was like so much left out on the field. And I'm hoping that they were just looking too far ahead and, taking their opponent for granted. Or they're just at that level.
I don't think so. I think the Raiders are just they're out here to play hard. And they came to play and they just, they did a good job. But, thankfully, Miami's defense, they locked it down in the second half. The Raiders didn't score a single point. So I think it's important to win. I think it's important for Miami to show that they can win different kinds of games. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah.
That they can, they can boat race a team, but if you want to get into a fist fight, they can win that game too.
That was good. Yeah.
So I think it's, even though the score isn't quite what you would hope or expect.
Or bet on.
Yeah, correct. As a fan, I'd be pleased with that victory for sure.
Yeah. Then we had the Giants. Speaking of pleased of a victory,
touchdown
Giants.
Tommy DeVito gets his first victory.
Touchdown Tommy, 31-19, beat the crap out of the Commanders. I was shocked every time I saw the score pop up. I was like, what is going on down there? Of course, we bet a different way. We bet the under on this game. We said that it could go either way, but we bet the under. We did not think that they would put up 50 points in this game.
This game got ugly on multiple occasions. There were fights. There were late hits and all kinds of madness going on. But at the end of the day, touchdown Tommy DeVito, man. What a day. 18 for 26, 246 yards, and 3 touchdown passes, even though he got sacked 9 times in this game.
Man, early, too. He got sacked. I think it was 9 times in the first half or something, or 6 in the first half. Something crazy.
Crazy. But, man, did he throw an absolute dime to Saquon Barkley in the corner of the end zone. That was beautiful. Saquon had 2 receiving touchdowns in this game. I don't know what to say, man. I guess the Giants were just tired of fucking losing. And and I just feel like there's something about the Commanders receiver core that I just don't trust. Sam Howell has been having a pretty good year despite their record.
Most
Sam Howell
in the NFL.
Sam Howell is he's one of those weird quarterbacks who's like he's not going to win you a lot of football games, but for some reason he's still a very good fantasy quarterback. He's like one of those weird anomalies. He threw 3 interceptions in this game.
Yep.
They never really got the run game cooking quite the way you would expect them to, and they couldn't make up for it in the pass game. So I think I just don't really know what happened to the whole. I felt like Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson last year were were like legitimate threats last year, and this year I feel like they've just been a disappointment.
And there's a lot of potential for Logan Thomas too, man. I thought he was gonna be a good convert he used to be quarterback at Virginia Tech. And I thought he was gonna be a good convert to tight end since he's so big and knows how to, knows the defenses and stuff. But this is really not working out for them.
I mean, this game was definitely within reach for the Commanders going into the fourth quarter, and then the Giants just put their boot on their neck, scored 17 points in the fourth quarter to pull this thing out. Pulled it out and showed him how big it was and said, this is touchdown Tommy DeVito's day. So good for him. He's got his first victory. He's been getting a lot of attention this week. A lot of articles been written about the fact that he still lives at home and his mom makes his bed and still makes his dinner for him. I think it's time for touchdown Tommy to at least start making his own bed. We had a conversation off mic before we started about, things that fathers expect from their sons by a certain age. And I think that I think at this point, I don't know how old Tommy DeVito is, but I'm guessing he's 23, 24 years old.
Yeah.
Make your own fucking bed, dude.
Yeah. His mom was like, you get a victory, Tommy.
Yeah.
You get a victory.
Make your own fucking bed. Make your bed. You just won a football game. You're an NFL football player. Make your bed.
Yeah, make your bed. Make your
or
bed.
do like everybody else and hire a Mexican to make it for you. For fuck's sakes. Come
on. Speaking of Mexican, no, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of Mexicans, let's go to Dallas.
The Cowboys beat the Panthers. What a surprise. The Cowboys beat a bad team by 20-plus points. It's happened. They've been a part of blowouts all season, and this wasn't nothing different. Bryce Young was running for his life as we thought he would be, and the Cowboys beat the brakes off the Carolina Panthers 33-10.
Yeah, Bryce Young was sacked 7 times in this game. He was definitely running for his life. He had precisely the kind of game you expect him to have against a team like the Cowboys. 123 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
Guess who had more completions out of Bryce Young and Justin Fields?
Who?
Same amount.
Oh, wow.
But we're over here like, Bryce Young, man, got to get your shit together. Justin Fields, great job, buddy. I think they had the same stat line too, 16-29. Just throwing it out there.
Interesting. I think Dak didn't have a super great game either. There were quite a few turnovers or some important turnovers in this game. Bryce Young also lost a fumble. That was a big deal. Cowboys had great field position all night long, so Dak didn't. He still got 2 touchdown passes, but he didn't even throw for over 200 yards. Oddly enough, this was the game that everybody expected to be the Tony Pollard breakout game because the Panthers have such a terrible run defense. He did better, but not quite the breakout. I wouldn't call this a breakout performance. 12 carries for 61 yards and a touchdown. And the third of those yards coming on one really nice angry touchdown run. I got to give him that.
We can't forget that.
That was a great touchdown run. But so far it's been interesting, the Tony Pollard experience. We all thought he was better than Zeke last year, and
it was
just thought it would be kind of a seamless fit for him to be the number 1 back, and it just hasn't been. I mean, they're still winning football games. Cowboys are 7-3, so I guess there's nothing to complain about. But this lack of a run game might catch up to them down the road, I think. We'll see.
Yep, it's gonna get colder.
There's some names I never heard of who factored into this game. Luke Shoemaker.
Oh, yeah. The tight end.
I love that this guy's name is Shoemaker. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's spelled like Shoemaker.
And then, of course, a guy who I would rather talk a little more about later, Deron Bland with a pick 6. Obviously, big deal there. That was great. Picks it, hits the ground, and uses the momentum of his role to just pop up and keep running.
Yeah.
And take that shit to the house. That was
man. That's some Deion type shit. It's like thinking of scoring as you get the pick, man.
Oh, yeah. He's
Loved
like,
it.
he's thinking of it like as he's in mid roll. He's like, I know exactly what I'm getting ready to do.
Maybe he knew how awesome that cartoon version of him is on Fox. They they do the drawings, the animation that
Yeah.
pops up when you score a touchdown.
Uh-huh.
The cartoon of his is so cool, man, because he's got one hand up and he's like pointing at the camera. I was like, oh, they got a good one for him.
That's funny. Yeah. I mean, you're right. They keep beating bad teams. We'll see how it goes. You play your schedule. And, Cowboys story to me, we're getting to that point in the season where it's like you can kind of start looking down the road towards the playoffs. And for me, the Cowboys situation is the same as it is every year. They're probably going to make the playoffs, and we'll see what happens when they get there. They got a lot of sort of negative reputation to kind of overcome in the playoffs, and we'll see if they fail and fall on their faces again, or if they manage to put it together. I don't know. Yeah. I can't really tell.
Well, one team that won't be in the playoffs, the Tennessee Titans.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
They played against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are probably going to be in the playoffs, and the Jaguars thumped them 34-14.
Boy, I got to tell you, sometimes being the smartest person in the room is a real burden. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's sweet. It's sweet like candy. My take on Will Levis, I can't tell you how pleased I am that he is turning out to be precisely what I told y'all he was going to be. 13 for 17 in this game, 158 yards. He did throw 2 touchdown passes, but they were in garbage time, more or less. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars were just absolutely destroying the Titans before they ever managed to find the end zone. I mean, this was exactly what the Jacksonville Jaguars needed after getting stomped themselves last week to the 40. Mm-hmm. They got beat bad by the 49ers. Yeah. They needed to come out and show that they were not fool's gold. They finally got Calvin Ridley involved. He's been really, really quiet in the last couple of weeks. He had 103 yards and 2 touchdown catches. Really nice passes from Trevor Lawrence. And I don't know what to say about the Tennessee Titans other than
they packed it up, man. They're over there.
I think it's rebuild time. I mean, it's like
and Tannehill wants out, by the way.
Tannehill wants out. He thinks he can still play, obviously. Derrick Henry has been a massive disappointment this year. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. I think it's a total teardown for the Titans at this point.
Yeah, the Texans, on the other hand, out here balling, man. 6-4. Who saw that coming? They beat the Cardinals 21-16, but the Cardinals had some fight in them. It was a fun game.
That touchdown pass from Kyler Murray.
Oh my God.
Rondale Moore.
Oh my God.
Was gorgeous. Absolutely.
Like, all right, y'all keep playing around, act like y'all want another a top quarterback. You better see what I got. That throw was fantastic, and he was moving around and shit.
He is going to make it really difficult for them to move on from him. And I would continue to argue. I still think Kyler Murray is a good quarterback. I really do, and I think the problem is the team that they built around him is just not good enough. If you put this guy on a good football team with good wide receivers, I think.
Sure, why not? He's got a cannon.
He has an absolute cannon and just a like the way he can throw that thing up there like a rainbow. It just we often use this phrase where you just drop one in a bucket. That pass to Rondale Moore, that was literally in a bucket. The way that thing went up and then just came boom, right into the breadbasket. I mean, it was just absolutely beautiful. Stroud struggled a little bit in this game, which I think is the main reason why the score was so close. He did throw 3 interceptions. Man. Again, another game where you throw 3 interceptions. You're not supposed to win that football game. But they did in large part because somebody who I think maybe he gets the Geno Smith Award for the year is in that he was written off and is apparently showing us that he decided not to write back. Devin Singletary has been fucking good the last couple of weeks. Devin Singletary has been really good. 22 carries for 112 yards and a touchdown. That motherfucker has been balling big time.
Buffalo's like, damn it.
Yeah. And this rookie Tank Dell too.
Yeah.
That kid, I
liked him in the preseason.
That was another that touchdown pass that CJ Stroud threw to him where he had to kind of go up and get it and fall into the back of the end zone. This motherfucker had 149 yards and a touchdown on 8 catches. He was on fire. The Texans are fun, man. I mean, this is a team that was supposed to be, in rebuild mode, who suddenly looked like they're in fucking win now mode.
Yeah.
I'd be really surprised.
They're a team that won't win at all, most likely, but you got to throw in most likely. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think that we still got a lot of time to go, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Texans secure a wild card spot. And
they could win the division.
If Jacksonville slips up,
gotta watch it. Yeah,
they could win this fucking division. Houston Texans are 6-4. The Jaguars are 7-3. This could and I think they play each other next week.
Yeah, they do.
So that's suddenly might be like sexiest game of the week right there. That's some hot shit.
Speaking of hot shit, man, 49ers came out and put it on the Buccaneers, man, 27-14.
They sure did. This was an interesting game. Brock Purdy looked fantastic. I feel like
having a bad couple weeks too.
It feels to me that the bye week, I don't know what happened in the bye week, but it feels like the 49ers are fixed. It
might have something to do with the coach, man. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's the players. He's hiding behind all these good players like Zach Taylor. You know what I mean?
I got a question for you.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
My question for you today is why is it not Kyle Shanahan's fault that the 49ers looked good last week?
Why is it not? It's a weird the way you word it.
Why doesn't he get credit for? Why does he not deserve credit for the victory?
Okay. Well, I would say Christian McCaffrey. I would say Deebo Samuel. I would say George Kittle. And more importantly, I would say Brandon Aiyuk, this motherfucker with 5 receptions, 156 yards and a touchdown. I mean,
so you said the talent.
How are you supposed to lose? How are you supposed to lose with a team that good? He should be winning every game. He shouldn't have lost any games. This team should be undefeated. They should be embarrassed that there's 3. The number 3 is over there in the L column. Like, this is a joke. What are we doing here? And you also, 27-14 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It should be 57-14. Honestly.
This man can't be stopped, man. Skip can't be stopped.
I mean, Purdy was almost perfect. Look at this. He's 21 for 25.
You don't think this team was completely prepared for anything that was going to come at them because they had a bye week?
This guy, he threw 4 incomplete passes in the entire game. How do you lose if you throw 4 incomplete passes?
How do you get ready to not? How do you get ready to not to have only 4 incompletions?
Well, I don't know. The players are probably sleeping right, eating right. You know what I mean?
I love it. It's my favorite part of this podcast right now. Let's move on to the deep. Yes, the petty runs deep, man. Speaking of running deep, the Bills ran deep into the butthole of the New York Jets on national television.
Oh my God!
Oh man, what an ass whooping! They took out all of their aggression and anger on the Jets, who fought valiantly in the beginning of the game, but weren't able to do anything because this week there was another one of these return of the whack, man. Return of the Whack. Whack Wilson is trash. I don't know what else to say, man.
I saw a lot of interesting things in this football game. I watched it pretty closely because it was in the late window and everybody had gone to bed. So I'm sitting there focusing. I didn't really have as focused an eye on the early window this week. Joanna was away in New York with her girlfriends, and I was sitting there with Saga and Isak, and I felt like we talked through the early window. The three of us, like, we had a great conversation. It was really cool. But then when they finally went to bed, I focused in on this game, and I was really interested to see how Josh Allen was going to play the week after the Bills fired their offensive coordinator. And in the first quarter, I saw the best word I could use to describe it was pensive. Very pensive. That's right. I went to college. And for those of you who don't know the word pensive, it basically means cautious. A lot of double pumps. Like, I'm going to throw this pass. Wait, nope. Don't want to throw an interception. Hold on a second. I'm going to run instead. A lot of that. And I was worried.
Very early. Yep. That's so true.
I was a little worried. I was like, this is not it. That is not the solution to your problem. Unfortunately, you gotta be you. You gotta go be you. You gotta believe in what you're doing and be you. I don't think the other thing was that what's his name, Diggs. I mean, I think they got all the way to halftime. I don't think Stephon Diggs had a single target when they went into the locker room at halftime. He only had 4 targets in the whole game. It just felt like I wasn't 100% sure they realized what they were. I didn't feel like they knew exactly what they were trying to do. I didn't feel like they had a real game plan. Luckily for them, the Jets are terrible. The Jets couldn't convert
Jets
third
are terrible
down.
on offense.
Yeah.
The Jets defense was there. They came to play, man. The score makes it look like they just ran out of gas, man. They were on the field the whole game.
They did, but they also made a lot of stupid mistakes on defense. There was that one tackle by Sauce Gardner where he fucking picked that dude up and like suplexed him.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you got him.
And he tried to jump a route too, and then he missed it, and the ball somehow got in there because Josh Allen has a bullet of an arm. He threw a bullet in there, and it got through. But he jumped it nicely, and then the guys missed the tackle.
I felt like the Jets, despite the fact that, they played well on defense to a certain extent, I felt like they made a lot of dumb mental mistakes. I just think they made a lot of dumb mental mistakes. And one of the things as the game started to progress is that I feel like the Bills did start playing a smarter brand of football where it's like, okay, why are we trying to force the ball to Stephon Diggs? Let's see if we can find some other guys. And so the other guys stepped up. Dalton Kincaid was a nice security blanket for pretty much the whole night. And then their top pass catchers were 2 guys who you've probably never heard of, Ty Johnson and Khalil Shakir. And then also the other thing that the one thing, and maybe I saw this because it's something I've seen before. One of the most promising things that I saw in this game from the Bills' perspective, okay, in the past, whenever the Bills would get into the red zone, they would take my man, former Bulldog, James Cook, they would take him out of the game, and they would go for a bigger, stronger bowling ball type of running back. I spent 3 years watching James Cook score touchdown after touchdown in the red zone, exactly how the Bills got him a touchdown in this game, where they run him out into the flats. Everybody thinks they're going to run, and Josh Allen tosses it out to him, and James Cook just walks into the end zone. I'm like, you guys drafted him. Yeah. Did you not watch the tape from college? Did you not watch what this man is capable of? They're starting to use James Cook in this game in the same way that the Buccaneers are starting to use what's his name?
White,
exactly. they realize when the Buccaneers realized that their run game was so shit, they're like, okay, well, let's get White out in the flats and we'll see if we can get him going that way. And it works. And they're built kind of the same too. They're very similar running backs. You got to get those guys out in space. And I feel like if this is a sign of things to come, I think the Bills may have sorted out their red zone problem. You do not need to be taking James Cook off the field when you're inside the 10-yard line. It doesn't make any sense.
The best thing is they threw the ball 32 times and they ran the ball 38 times. And that's kind of where you want to have that balance.
Balance. Absolutely right. And again, what are we going to do? Zach Wilson, 7 for 15, 7 for 15, 81 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He got sacked 5 times. He got benched. They brought in Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle also 7
it can
completions.
Get worse.
7 for 14. It was just a little bit better. Breece Hall couldn't do shit. The Bills locked that shit down. They only had 6.
Jets would have won if they got Dobbs.
Agreed.
No, I don't know if they win. They'd be way better. They fucked up.
I mean, it's what are you gonna do? You know, all week long they've been talking about how Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be back for Christmas, and they're like, "Oh my God, Aaron Rodgers is like Santa Claus," and it's like, I'm sorry, but it's not. There's not going to be any point to it. The Jets are not going to be in a position to make the playoffs on Christmas. I just don't. I don't see it. This team ain't it.
Zach Wilson was his press conference. I'm not gonna play it. I do have it, but I'm not gonna play it. It's pointless. But he sounded exactly like Brandon Staley. I thought they sounded so much alike in their press conferences that I was just like, you know what? But yeah, it's time to move on for both teams. Chargers move on, and
we'll see with the Bills. I mean, they got a pretty gnarly schedule coming up, but obviously this is great. You go in, you handle your business, you win the week after you. I don't think they should have fired their offensive coordinator. To be fair, whatever.
It's not. He shouldn't have sent that, but he shouldn't have told that guy to run on the field. That's all I'm saying. The 12th man.
Right.
Speaking of the 12th man, the Seattle Seahawks played the LA Rams and lost.
Yeah, this was
17-16, barn burner.
This was an ugly and unfortunate scenario for the Seahawks. First, they lost Kenneth Walker pretty early in the game to an oblique injury.
Yeah, he got twisted up. You can see him grab his back as he was running through the hole.
So they lost
at it. Like his oblique, yeah.
So they lost him early. Geno was outplaying Matthew Stafford by a country mile. Geno was having one of those Geno days. He was getting DK Metcalf cooking, which hasn't really he has not been as automatic as he was in years past. But he had a nice day. And then Geno got hurt. And I felt like that was kind of when the game sort of flipped on its head, and suddenly it felt like it would be possible for the Rams to win this game. The Rams, in all fairness, also lost Cooper Kupp in this game early. But Puka Nacua made up for it and played pretty well. And the Rams were able to run the ball. This Royce Freeman kid who had 73 yards on 17 carries, he was running hard and angry. He was kind of keeping them in this game. And the Rams were able to put up 10 points in the fourth quarter to kind of steal this one at a point when the Seahawks were forced to roll with Drew Lock, who, you know, I think that's kind of when when they had to, as soon as Drew Lock came into the game, it was like, oh shit, if the Rams can figure this out, it's there for the taking. And they took it by only 1 point, obviously, but yeah. I think Geno's okay.
Okay, good. That was my question.
I think Geno's okay. I read this morning that he's expected to play on do they play? I think they might play on Thursday. Do they play the 49ers on Thanksgiving? They might.
Oh, yeah, Thursday's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we got Thanksgiving games coming up, y'all.
People remember that if you have fantasy.
Yep. There's 3 games this Thanksgiving, as there are now. And there's also
Cowboys, Commanders again. Oh no, I'm mixing up. Lions, Packers, Cowboys, Commanders.
Lions, Packers, Cowboys, Commanders, and then I guess it's Seahawks and 49ers. And we also have our first ever Black Friday game on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
Who are the Dolphins playing?
Jets.
That's a dub.
If we lose that one, then everybody's going to be wondering what's wrong with it.
I read that the Dolphins are petitioning to become the permanent Black Friday team.
Really? Wow.
They want to be like
That's
the
cool.
Lions of Thanksgiving.
That's
like
pretty
on
cool.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, I think that would be cool too.
I try to definitely go to. Maybe that could be my annual game. Go to the Black Friday game. If it's always at home too, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they get it. All right, then we got 2 more games left. We had the Sunday night game, which turned out to be a fun one. The Vikings versus the Broncos. I thought the Vikings were going to win this game. You thought? Did you think so too?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Broncos shocked us, man. Broncos are sitting 5-5. Nobody saw that coming after they were losing by 50 points at the beginning of the season. Everybody's wondering if Sean Payton has been passed by the league and if Nathaniel Hackett's a better coach. And they put all that shit to rest, man. They're on a 4-game winning streak. The Vikings themselves have been on a 5-game winning streak. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it took a very dramatic late touchdown pass from Russell Wilson to Cortland Sutton to win this game. So very, very dramatic ending to the game. Josh Dobbs still played well. He's still doing what he needs to do to win football games for sure.
He had that fumble early in the game, though.
He did, and he also threw an interception.
Pick, yeah.
I read an article with Sean Payton. He credits their win streak to cleaning up their turnover problems. Like now that they stopped turning the ball over, they've suddenly shocked some teams. I mean, they've beat some pretty good teams here.
And the Vikings, whenever they lose, they turn the ball over a lot.
That's true. That was their big problem early in the season was turnovers for sure.
And they had him in this game too, man. Didn't they have 3 turnovers, 4 turnovers, something like that?
Let's see. They got the one interception.
Yeah, they lost 2 fumbles and threw a pick.
And they lost 2 fumbles. Dobbs fumbled the ball 3 times.
Wow.
But he only lost it once. Denver Broncos, go do your thing. I mean, this is kind of a little more what we expected out of them for sure. I mean, they're suddenly 5-5 and kind of on the upswing. I don't see any reason why, if they don't keep playing like this, they couldn't contend for a wild card spot for sure. So, yeah, hang in there, Broncos fans. Hang in there.
Yeah, hang in there, man. Vikings shouldn't hang their head too much either, man. They're 6-5. They might. It's the NFC. They might get into the playoffs too, man. Keep doing what y'all are doing too.
Anything could happen in the NFC, honestly.
Yeah. You know what's not going to happen? The Eagles aren't going to be taken away from the 1 seed. Did you see the game?
I have not seen it yet. I read about it this morning, but I haven't had time to look at that.
I watched the whole thing, man, wire to wire. Great game, ups and downs. The score doesn't seem crazy, 21-17, but it was a really good game. The Chiefs didn't even score in the second half, man. But it still came down to the wire. There was a dropped touchdown that would have been a go-ahead touchdown with seconds left by Valdez-Scantling. In his hands, beautiful Kyler Murray type throw.
I saw that highlight.
Right in there. It would have won the game. It would have been a fantastic, well, maybe not won the game, but there's only seconds left. Fantastic finish. And then it ended up with the next play being a sack and intentional grounding, and then 4th and forever, which went through somebody else's hands. So it's like the Chiefs' problem of pass catchers not catching the ball is coming back to haunt them. And the Eagles capitalized on it. Chiefs' defense looked great this game. And then the Eagles just grinded out, kept grinding and grinding. Another game where the Eagles grinded out and figure out a way to win. And that's all you can ask for, man. And they're sitting at 9-1, best team in the NFL.
How about my man, former Bulldog DeAndre Swift? How'd he look? Was he good?
Man, he looked great, man. He had a touchdown, but he just looked great running the ball. Like when the momentum swung, when like the Eagles kind of took over, it was like the Hurt Swift show. It was nice, man. Yeah, it looked good, man.
So Taylor Swift didn't show up, but DeAndre Swift did.
The only Swift that mattered, yeah.
I like that.
And Isaiah Pacheco, man, I like the way he runs, man. I just got to mention that. He runs the ball great. We had everything right on our bet, except on our parlay, Monday night parlay, except, and you were right, man. You said we should have, in retrospect, we should have just said Hurts is going to score some type of touchdown instead of passing touchdown. And he ran it in twice, I think.
Oh, yeah, I see that here. Yeah, he had 2 rushing touchdowns and no.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there like, man, we talked about it after making a bet. Like, you know what? Maybe if we would have bet him rushing for a touchdown instead of Kelsey got him a touchdown, but they were focusing their defense on him like everybody does. He still was kind of effective, but it was the run game for the Chiefs and their defense.
He also had a fumble too, right? I think
Kelsey did,
fumbled.
yeah, because they were like on their way to score. He fumbled. It was like their turnovers were killing them, and Mahomes was Mahomes, man. He was the pick that he threw. Where was that at? It was just a great play by the defender, and Hurts too. That guy, he jumped a route, and it was a miscommunication between Hurts and Brown, who was ready to go deep. And Hurts just was in trouble because Chandler Jones, yeah. He was in the backfield. No, Chris Jones. In the backfield the whole goddamn night. Yeah, so I was amazed that they fought on the beginning, fought off the defensive pressure, and then just figured it out, man. The Eagles are for real, bro.
Yeah, well, the Eagles, obviously, they win the Super Bowl rematch here. Luckily for the Chiefs, this wasn't for the Super Bowl. So,
Andy Reid off a bye week.
Yeah, great win for the Eagles. 9-1, sitting at the top of the NFC. I think the Chiefs. I don't know, man. I'm always trapped between thinking that the Chiefs are going to be fine and thinking like, maybe this is a problem. I think they'll sort it out, but I'm not really convinced that the Chiefs. Like I wouldn't put money on them winning the Super Bowl again this year.
No, I don't know about. I mean, it's hard for people to win back to back anyway, but it's also hard to bet against Mahomes. He does some just magical shit, and then
It's true.
Andy Reid is just always got you prepared. They just, it just didn't fall their way this time. This wasn't by any means like an ass whooping. I guess in the second half, I didn't realize they didn't score in the second half, but that just untimely fumbles, man.
Right.
Or I don't know when a fumble's timely, but that's what had them leaving 2 drives that just ended.
Yep, we'll see.
Oh, yeah, man. So that was week 11 wrapped up. Let's hit our superlatives, man. I can go first if you want. My real MVP.
Go ahead.
My real MVP is Brandon Aiyuk. This guy gets kind of lost in the shuffle with Deebo Samuel and CMC and the eccentric George Kittle and the what's his name? The last guy picked in the draft, Brock Purdy. But Aiyuk is quietly dominating over there in San Francisco. On Sunday was his time to shine. He had 156 yards on 5 catches, with one of them being a beautiful 76-yard play. To me, the most impressive thing is the fact that all of his 5 receptions were either for a touchdown or a first down. Every single time he touched the ball, it impacted the game. That's an impact player. And for that, Brandon Aiyuk. Oh, my volume is down over here, man. Damn, I missed my whole moment right there.
You the real MVP.
I feel like sometimes you and I are like too, like, college girl roommates where
Our periods are synced.
we hang out so much together that our periods are starting to line up. Because my MVP this week is also Brandon Aiyuk. Most people think of this guy as a number 2 wideout, but when you look at the numbers, and even better if you watch the tape, because we're tape heads over here.
Tape head, baby.
You see there is no number 2 in this man's game. Aiyuk for the year so far is averaging 19.3 yards per catch. That is number 1 out of all receivers with over 25 catches. He's 10th overall in total receiving yards this season. 10th overall. But get this. The other 9 receivers ahead of him. Nice. The other 9 receivers ahead of Aiyuk, none of them have less than 80 targets on the year. Most of them have 90, closer to 100 targets. Aiyuk only has 61 targets on the year.
Damn.
Yeah, and that 76-yard touchdown this week is the longest receiving touchdown among top wideouts this season. The man's a beast, and you're right. You know, they got Debo, they got Captain America, Christian McCaffrey, they got Kittle. But it's time to start reframing the narrative around Brandon Aiyuk as one of the best wideouts in the NFL. So that's why, for me, this week, he's my real MVP.
You the real MVP.
Who's your trash? Who's our trash?
It's got to be Brandon Staley. I don't know, man. I just feel like, bro, you're a defensive-minded coach. You have a bottom 5 defense for 3 years straight. So when a reporter who has to do it, who's out here just trying to do his job, asks you a question about your defense, which is supposed to be your job, I get that that's frustrating. I really do. But the last thing you should feel entitled to do is to be a dick. I mean, up there on the podium telling a grown-ass man that he no longer needs to question your defensive play calling strategy when you've had 3 years to solve this problem and failed is only convincing the rest of us what we already know. Your seat is hot. It just got a lot hotter. And most of us feel like it's time for you to go because Brandon Staley, unlike the other Brandon, Mr. Aiyuk, if you're nasty, Brandon Staley, you fucking trash.
You are trash!
Man. Well, our periods are completely synced. We've been here before. Brandon Staley has got to go. He doesn't pass the coach eye test. And speaking of test, he's testy with reporters. It's just all coming apart at the seams. The talented Chargers roster had no business losing to the Packers team in the midst of its own identity crisis. Yeah, there were dropped passes and missed assignments and whatnot, but that all reflects on the coach. There's no doubt that Chargers locker room is just waiting for the news that the coach has been fired. I'm sure there's a betting pool that's about who's the interim coach is going to be, if it's going to happen during the season. Put this guy out of his misery because it's evident that Brandon Staley.
You are trash!
Yep.
My shit got learned is that Justin Fields is auditioning for a future role somewhere. The Bears got exactly what they wanted from a front office standpoint. They got an exciting game for the fans. I'm sure the Soldier Field faithful came out assuming they were in for a shitty Sunday afternoon, but they definitely got a little dose of hope with their Polish sausage. Polish sausage they were eating. Justin Fields ran for over 100 yards and threw a few impressive passes, which raised his trade stock immensely. All that happened, and they lost the game, which kept them in the pack for another top pick. They have Carolina's pick as well, and they took a way less encouraging L at home against Dallas. Carolina, I mean. The chips falling like this means all cards are on the table. They can do a full overhaul, including the coach if they want to. They could trade back, get some assets if they want to. They can even take a high quarterback with one of those picks and then trade Fields for even more assets. So Justin Fields has to kick ass not only to save his job, but maybe to entice other teams to want his services. It looks like the Bears win either way, unless they win. Then they kind of lose.
That's an interesting point. Falcons Twitter is out here screaming for Justin Fields.
Don't do it.
Falcons fans really want him.
That's it.
I'm not feeling it.
Come on, man.
I'm not feeling
it. Stop it, Falcons fan.
Our periods are finally out of sync. My shit got learned is something totally different. It's coming at you from the one and only Skip Stradamus.
Uh-oh.
A cold take that is only going to get hotter and hotter when the season is over and the owners start meeting to discuss rule changes.
Oh yeah.
To the recently labeled hip drop tackle. Previously known as a normal tackle that has the ability to cause injury just like every other fucking tackle.
Yeah.
My prediction is that if they do outlaw this tackle next season, the hip drop tackle will be the next great frustrating nightmare in a long line of nightmares as we ask part-time NFL referees to legislate the danger of a sport that is inherently dangerous by nature. It's not about targeting and concussions. That's not what I'm talking about here, because rule changes that have taken place in attempt to protect players' brains was not only a good idea, but very easily identified, easy to eliminate, and long overdue. No, I'm talking about the long line of rules, most of which are very subjective. The new roughing the passer rules that make it nearly impossible to touch the quarterback. Taunting is another stupid example of a rule that shouldn't exist. I mean, Christ, these guys can't even identify pass interference properly half the time. Remember what happened? Yeah, exactly. Remember what happened when the league asked the refs to define what is and what is not a catch? I'm telling you, dude, the hip drop tackle will be just as bad, and it'll make it virtually impossible for a player to tackle a ball carrier from behind without being accused of intentionally attempting to injure. I don't understand it. When OBJ got injured by the same player that injured Mark Andrews, got wrapped up, took him to the turf, caused Odell to land directly on his shoulder. When a 200 to 300 pound man lands on top of you, your shoulder goes in the ground, there's a better than average chance it's going to get hurt. Do we outlaw that tackle as well? Are we going to start outlawing tackles that injure shoulders? Look, the bottom line is I want players to be safe. I really do. But this is football, and there's no way to legislate the prevention of injury in a sport that is as violent and physical as football. The game is already completely stacked against the defense. If we keep going at this rate, we might as well ask these guys on the field to just go out and play non-contact chess. Like, it just doesn't it doesn't make any sense. Like I saw an article this morning that they might actually try to like act quick and outlaw the hip drop tackle right now.
Stupid.
And I
never heard of that until this year either.
You know when we heard it? And this is so typical. The first time we heard of the hip drop tackle is when it happened to Mahomes last year in the playoffs.
Okay.
Happens to someone like Mahomes, all of a sudden it's like, whoa. Let's get rid of that thing. It's not Mahomes' fault. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying.
They're going to get rid of interceptions?
Yeah, exactly. Josh Allen will be happy if they get rid of interceptions.
It's just a do-over.
Yeah.
Wow. Good stuff, man. I want to put some Speck first before we do the scariest teams.
Okay.
Who you put? Oh, let's resync our periods. Okay, resynced. Okay, who you putting Speck on?
There's a lot of defensive player of the year candidates out there. We hear their names week after week. We hear Bosa. We hear Myles Garrett. We hear T.J. Watt.
Micah.
But y'all got to start showing some love to my guy, Deron Bland. This motherfucker is tied with Geno Stone for most interceptions in the league with 6. But Bland, 4 of those picks, he turned them into 6, okay?
To the house.
4 pick sixes on the year, which ties an NFL record for most in a single season with plenty of time to go out there and break that shit. He joins Eagles' Eric Allen from 1993, Chiefs' Jim Kearney from 1972, and Oilers' Ken Hudson from 1971. Also had 4 pick sixes. This dude is a 2022 fifth-round pick out of Fresno State, filling in for injured Trayvon Diggs. And I just don't feel like he's getting the attention he deserves. I just don't. This man is becoming a star right before our eyes, and I believe it is time to put some Speck on Deron Bland's name.
Put some respect on my name.
All right. I thought we had the same one. I forgot you said you were going to have that guy. Because I have Tommy DeVito.
Tommy D.
He's been so disrespected, man. Football fans all over America were talking that shit about the little wise guy with the short temper from Goodfellas. No, wait, it was the other Tommy. We thought the Giants didn't stand a chance. The guy played at what school? He doesn't even throw the ball downfield. There's no way Tommy's gonna. Oh, Tommy comes out, guns are fucking blazing. Tommy threw for 246 yards, 3 tutties, and no picks. Mom's going to make him a nice baked ziti for Tommy boy tonight. And when she scoops Tommy's favorite slice from that pan, which we all know is the corner slice, Mommy DeVito is going to say,
Put some respect on my name.
So that's my Speck.
I like it.
My scariest team, AFC, believe it or not, after a loss, Chiefs, man. Who's your scariest AFC team?
I'm going to go with the Ravens. I mean, they're 8-3. They're stacking wins. They're sitting at the top of the. I mean, by way of that Chiefs loss, they're now the number 1 team in the AFC. So,
Aren't the Chiefs 8-3 too?
Chiefs are 7-3. Ravens are 8-3.
Oh yeah, they haven't had a bye week. Okay. Oh shit.
Yep, I'm going Ravens.
All right, who's your scariest NFC team? Who's our scariest period sync NFC team?
I mean, it's got to be Falcons, right? I'm just kidding. It's got to be the Eagles. I mean, they're 9-1. They're also stacking wins. You can talk about how they don't look the way they looked last year. It's like, yeah, well, they're winning football games. So,
yep, that's what it comes down to.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right, that's it for us, man. That was fun. Week 11 in the books. We got our superlatives out there.
Yeah. Also, don't forget Thanksgiving. Set your fantasy lineups. We got 3 games on Thanksgiving, 1 on Black Friday.
Yes.
We'll be back to talk about those games soon.
Yeah, man. We'll be back, man. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be back with predictions later in the week. And just SveNFL being SveNFL, man. Y'all take care. It's been Jonathan Rollins.
Skip Musara.
And SveNFL. Peace.
Later, y'all.